Okay, it's back to saw 2 of 10, which is the second Husqvarna 136. The side cover brake, I don't know what you want to call this, the brake ring, spring brake, whatever that grabs in the clutch in case it kicks back, was broken. So instead of spending $8 for just that part, I figured I'd buy a whole replacement cover for $13, which I thought came pre-assembled. It doesn't. So what I'll probably end up doing is taking this gray handle off here, putting it on this piece here, so the plastics match better than this black one here, which does not match at all. So that's what I'm going to do here for step 1. High quality spare parts with that writing on it. Might be counter to each other, but whatever. So it came with this, so the parts right here. Which will attach the handle. Okay, so I'm going to pull this handle off though, so I get some tools and boy, I might just swap this spring. Maybe I'll do that instead. Pull this part off, swap the spring out of this part here into this one. Use the original, which is definitely better quality. It matches better than this orange is going to stand out. I'd rather have the original, so that's probably what I'll do. Stay tuned. Okay, so I haven't done this before, so it's a tutorial for you and for me at the same time. I think take out these 4 Phillips heads here. So I think I said before it was $8 for a spring and $13 for the whole part. But I figured, I'll save me from having to assemble anything. But since I have to assemble the brake handle anyway, why don't I just do this right? I hope it's got some spring in there. Okay. So that's what it looks like in there. So this spring, a little more complicated than I thought. It's crazy, this brand new part has already got corrosion on it right there. I'm guessing we'll pop this spring out right here. There's a pin in there. Then, watch your eyes. Spring can go off over here out of the way. Again, I'm learning as we go here. I've never done this, so bear with me. Take the cover off before we go too far. Make sure it's the same spring setup. If not, we're going to use the new one, replace the gray handle, and call it a day. First, let me see. Now let me sneak this out. Okay. Spring does look the same. Breck said it looks the same.
I think I want to replace this spring.
I'm going to pull this cover off. Let's get that Allen key off camera. Okay. Pull out this socket head cap screw, put that there. Handle's got to come off with. Wonder if okay, that works. So to get this captive nut ring off the inside, just thread that cap screw back in a little bit and knock it out. And then once that's out from the inside, you should be able to punch out one from the outside. Okay, that's outside, inside is there. Now, this part should be, have to push this punch pin out also? I guess so. Breck says yes. So, which way does that go out? That seems like a press fit. Okay. There's another spring in here that's going to shoot out. Okay. Wow. Had to pull that out to get this out. And now we can pull that spring off like that. So I got to repeat the procedure over here. Leave that spring on this time. I don't think we can pull that up, but we got to push this pivot pin out right here. Okay, went and got some tools, so we'll just use the proper tools. Punch that out. Of course, I grabbed the wrong size punch. I only have English punches or American punches, and these are obviously metric dowel pins, so. Okay. Nope. I remember how that went. Take this Phillips screw out of here. Pull that spring off there. Put the spring back on the rear Husqvarna part. Place that screw. Okay, now I'm going to put this back in the real Husqvarna parts. Put that dowel pin back in. Okay. There's that. Put this pin, this spring clip that did not need to get removed back in. Okay, it clips over that part. Now, let's see if we can feed this husky orange spring back in here. Something ain't right. This one too tight. I may have goofed that orientation. Yeah, I did. Okay, so this spring is really, really tight. So I think I need to put this handle in first. Use the handle to allow this forward, and then I'll have to lock this spring in, because right now I'm having a bear of a time getting that spring in there. So getting off camera slightly. Getting these two halves into here, we'll install this socket head cap screw. And we'll see if I wasted my time trying to salvage the husky part. Okay. Being so tight before. A long way to compress that now. Okay, I think I figured it out. In order. Put this cover back on here. I think that'll keep that spring kept. So I tried rotating that back and the spring shot out. So I think if we put this cover on, reinstall these 4 screws, that may allow this thing to function properly. So that's what we'll try next. I knew this thing was under some tension, but wow, that thing really lets loose. And I get it. They want, as soon as your hand hits that chain brake, for it to snap closed for safety reasons. Obviously, for anybody who doesn't know how saws kickback, They're there to save somebody's head. But if you know how to plunge cut properly, you don't really need these. I think I've had this brake trigger once in my life. Okay, now when I rotate this back, it should stay captive. Wow, that thing's tight. Okay, there it is then. A lot of play in there though. Seems odd. Nice snapshot. Okay, well, I think that's how it's supposed to go. And we have the original one, just the spring from this aftermarket one, which does feel like garbage. So what I'll probably do is I'll probably put the parts for this aftermarket one back together so I have the spare parts and the orientation as it should be. Okay, the other one's back together. Flimsy junk out of the way. This part's good to go now. The other part that did not come in is the new top cover. That top cover came with new fuel line, but I believe I have enough other fuel line to get this job done without waiting for those parts. If the fuel line I have here is the right size. Okay, I forgot to videotape a bunch, but I got the fuel line down to the fuel tank, and now I'm installing the carb again with this bracket. It's going to be right here, and these two studs that screw down and hold that bracket and the carburetor to the engine. Then I'll put this cover on next. So. To tighten these two bolts or studs because aluminum cylinder, don't want to strip anything. Okay, so just getting, and I'll show you, I'll get you a better view right here. These screws right here. Sorry. One over there on the ground strap, one over here on the right. Okay. Carb is locked down. Let's take this hose over here, cut it to length. Make sure we have enough length inside the fuel tank so the fuel filter is sitting flat. That's good. Okay. Ooh, hot potato, hot potato. Measure twice, cut once, right? As the old saying goes. Okay. Hose is coming up, goes over there, goes over top right here in this little channel, and then right there at the top. Now, this part goes on next, and I believe it goes this direction. Take these two 10mm nuts, which then capture the air filter housing, I guess we call it. This plastic part. Hope this thing runs. I checked compression and spark a week ago when I picked this up. It just took forever to get parts in. Tell you what, you get used to Amazon delivery times and then ordering from eBay, just, it's not the same. Not saying it's any worse, just, we're an instant gratification society anymore, so it's tough to wait. Two flathead screws hold the air filter itself on, and the top cover here on the air filter got delayed, so that'll be in Tuesday. Monday is President's Day, so therefore I've federal holiday and there will not be any mail delivered that day. So. After getting all these chainsaws, I'm really surprised how poorly chainsaw air filters keep the fine particles out. Okay. I don't know why this looks like it's in further, but it feels good and seated. The other part I had to order was this throttle linkage. So remember how to put this in. It's been a little while. Up and over. Okay, just like that. So if he's in here now, there's the throttle. Maybe the top cover here holds this thing down so it won't slip up. Okay, since we have the bar and chain here, we'll throw that on before we go give this saw its first test run. I know it sounds silly, but always make sure the chain's facing the right direction. One of the saws I had here had the chain on backwards, so I'm sure that guy wasn't cutting too well. I know people who have installed their chain backwards, and then they were complaining how their saw was cutting. Only to find they installed the chain backwards. Happens to the more people than you think. I hate when something doesn't line up perfectly. Okay, it's dark out. Just fueled it up. We'll see how many pulls it takes to fire this little girl up. Should be on, right? Yeah. It'll pop there. Not in the top of the thing. Just right pop. See the run. Weird. That was not easy start. We'll put some bar oil in here and see if we can get the chain lubricated before it heats the bar up too much. Front row. Maybe put too much in there. It's gonna make a mess, isn't it? Hold that thought. Okay, note to self, never fill up the bar oil with the funnel. My first time doing it ever. Filling up with the funnel, and of course it failed on me. So yeah, I think the cover, once it's in place, it'll keep this throttle linkage down and the choke down as well. So this saw, once we get those parts that come in on Tuesday, will be ready to sell. So there it is. Husqvarna 136, saw number 2 of 10. Peace out.